Dear God, please, this move, let me find a best friend. After 6 moves in 13 short years of life, all I wanted was a friend.
Dear God, please wake me from this nightmare. After 4 moves and 11 long years of life, I did not want to make any new friends.
I grew up in a sheltered religious subculture in which the virtues of homeschooling were extolled and the dangers of public school, along with pretty much all pop culture, were damned. Making friends, hard to come by.
I had no problem making friends, but freshly uprooted by my military parents from my glamorous suburban Virginia empire to the backwaters of Knob Noster, Missouri.
Which looks exactly like it sounds.
I was desperate and angry. I steeled myself for a life of ascetic solitude. What was the point of making lame friends in this cow-infested hellscape when I'd be reunited with my cool friends back home once this assignment was over? In a mere 1,095 days. Ugh, this move sucked.
This move was exciting. Instead of moving to a neighborhood of my family's choosing, we were stationed on the military base. And from the window of our duplex, I spied our new neighbors, specimens I had heretofore never had contact with, public schoolers.
Amanda, you have to meet the nice homeschool family next door. They have 6 kids, 2 girls near your age. Why don't you go over and say hello? My mother unreasonably suggested. Forced against my will, I ventured outside to meet the youngest daughter, Emily.
Renae, your little sister is next door meeting the public school girl. I'm sure she's sweet, but next time I need you to go with her to be my eyes and ears. You just never know. My mother quite reasonably suggested. From that moment forward, I was determined to be a good soldier for the Lord, lest my little sister be led astray.
I gawked as Emily marched toward me, sporting a kitten print t-shirt tucked into hot pink tracksuit pants. It all went downhill from there. We proceeded to disagree about life's most important subjects. Makeup.
Didn't wear it.
Lizzie McGuire.
Never heard of her.
Pop music.
We like classical.
Surely. Orlando Bloom.
Legolas, the dumbest character.
Desperate for an escape after an entirely too long debate over whether Boromir was a sympathetic character, I reluctantly agreed to meet the rest of Emily's family, and that's when I saw her.
Emily decided it was a good idea to bring the public schooler into our domicile, rudely interrupting my precious 30 minutes of Jedi Knight Jedi Academy computer time.
She turned her bushy head slowly from the computer and flashed me a big buck-tooth grin. "I'm Renae," she said, smoothing her baggy denim shorteralls. Wow, she sure is full of herself, I thought.
Wow, immodest, I thought, detailing the tight jeans, extra small t-shirt, and makeup. That night, Emily dutifully reported Amanda's many sins, the worst being Amanda was the kind of girl to watch the movies before reading the books. I made a note to pray for her soul.
I made a note to never see them again, so when they came knocking the next day...
Only because there are literally no other kids in Knob Noster, Missouri, and Emily clearly needed a chaperone.
I jumped into the shower as quickly as I could, and stayed there for 45 minutes at 2 in the afternoon.
Only a public schooler would be so vain.
Until they finally gave up and left me alone. But unfortunately, my stoic reserve was wavering beneath the primal urge for human company. So when tasked with babysitting our brothers a couple days later, I decided to extend an olive branch to Emily. If we had to work together, we might as well hurl mud at each other and test our monkey bar agility. Not cool, but okay, kind of fun, I guess.
Emily and I were both impressed that Amanda partook in these wholesome activities, but as guardian of Emily and my salvation, I felt continued tests of Amanda's worthiness were in order, so I staged a surprise.
Following up on our strictly professional babysitting partnership, I knocked on their door the next day, and to my horror, it opened
to an impromptu whipped cream battle.
That's disgusting and not cool, I thought as I watched them smash platefuls of Cool Whip into each other's faces.
Amanda's disappointing reaction to obvious, unadulterated fun demonstrated she certainly wasn't friend material for Emily, definitely not worth damning my soul over by association.
I immediately pinpointed the culprit. Renae. Revelation struck me. Perhaps Emily could be saved. By me. I could transform her into a cool kid worthy of my friendship.
I soon noticed Amanda's concerted efforts to corrupt Emily exponentially increase. Not on my watch.
Lesson 1, makeup.
Perfect for face painting.
Lesson 2, the perfect tan.
How about an hour-long water treading competition?
Lesson 3, fashion.
Poor public schooler, to never know the wonders of a functional, full-length denim skirt.
Renae trolled me at every turn, sabotaging my philanthropic efforts. I resigned myself to reality. Extreme Makeover Homeschool Edition had failed.
Mission accomplished.
But in the process, I'd begun to like Emily, even if her obnoxious chaperone wouldn't leave us alone. To my surprise, the more time we spent together, the more I had fun, climbing trees, hitting each other with lightsabers, and making Penelope monkey brain mush.
To my surprise, I wasn't struck down by lightning every time we played MASH or listened to Hilary Duff albums in Amanda's bright pink bedroom covered in Orlando Bloom posters. The more time passed, the more I began to wonder if playing with the public schooler was so dangerous after all.
One day, I had an idea. We'd bridge my encyclopedic knowledge of pop culture with their extensive collection of Beanie Babies to recreate an iconic Geico commercial.
Not that I'd ever seen that Geico commercial, but I loved a good production and was even more thrilled to discover Amanda had a creative side.
We built a set,
Sewed costumes,
engineered a puppetry system,
rehearsed an impeccable execution,
and readied the camera for our film debut.
we pressed record.
And then, crash!
After hours of work, our set completely collapsed mid-performance.
We stared at each other in shock.
It was a stupid skit, but we put so much work into it only for it to fall apart.
Just like my life, the moment my parents dragged me to Knob Noster.
But looking at Amanda, looking at me, something shifted.
Inexplicably, we burst into laughter.
Tear streaming, pants peeing, belly aching laughter.
The kind of laughter you don't walk away from as enemies.
I had misjudged. Amanda was fun and creative and a person, not some harbinger of sin. I didn't have to keep her at a distance.
And I realized Renae was silly and genuine and the first person I'd met who didn't care about the superficial facade I'd created. I didn't have to be cool. I could just be me.
We didn't know 15 years ago we'd be here now.
Still laughing our way through the mountains and valleys of our lives.
Still learning from each other and different in many ways.
But in that moment, we did know one thing.
That we had found a friend.
My
best friend.